Hello and welcome back to our Crochet Crash Course. Today we are on Crochet 102. So in last week's module we learned about single crochets and we did a little bit of a deep dive into slip knots and foundation chains and casting off. So today we're going to build off of those skills that we learned in Crochet 101. So now that we've done a single crochet, we're going to move on to a half double crochet and a double crochet today. I believe in you. You have honed your crochet skills. I know that you can learn 2 stitches today because they kind of build off of each other. So it's a bit of a natural progression, and I think that's a good amount to handle today. So we're going to do the half double crochet first, which is just a step up from a single crochet, and then a double crochet, which is a step up from a half double crochet. So if you hadn't guessed by the name of it quite yet. So we are going to start with a bit of a refresher on slip knots and foundation chains. Of course, we're going to need that to start our half double and double crochets anyways. And similar to how we did it in the last module, we're going to be doing a square of each stitch. So we're going to start with the half double crochet and we're going to do a square of the half double crochet. Now the main goal is for this square to match the dimensions of the single crochet square that we have, because like we said, they're all going to be put together into a cardigan. So I've put in the number of rows that correspond the best to my single crochet square. If you find that you need to take out one row or add another row into any one of your squares so that they match your previous square that you made, feel free to. It's all about just whatever matches the previous squares that you've made. So if the dimensions aren't entirely the same size, it's totally fine to take out and add as needed, all right? Once we're done with going through those squares and casting off and finishing off those squares, we're going to come back here and we're going to go through the assignments and wrap up the video. Like I said in the previous module, you're really going to need the same set of materials. So we're going to use our bright colored yarn. So I'm going to be using literally the same exact yarn and our 5.5 mm hook. Influencer moment. Oh my god, I dropped it. Thick thighs save lives, girls. My influencer moment of my 5mm crochet hook. Slay queen and my brightly colored yarn. This is what we're going to use, so I'm going to meet you over at my table. We are back with our 5mm hook and our brightly colored yarn, and we're going to start off with half double crochets today. So in our last class we did learn about a single crochet, and this is basically taking it one step further and kind of adding a loop onto your hook, as you will see in this stitch. So again, for every stitch that we're going to do, we're going to need a slip knot and we're going to need foundation chains. And similar to how we did the single crochet, we're going to do a half double crochet square. So we're going to aim to make a square that basically fits the dimensions of this one, which hopefully you recognize is our single crochet square from the last video, and we're going to make it fit this length and this height basically. So in terms of our chains going across, we're going to do basically the same number of chains going across as we did for this square. We're going to do for our half double crochet square as well, and then we're going to adjust the number of rows to fit this height as well. So let's start with our slip knot, which hopefully you remember how to do, but if not, we're going to do it. We're going to do it again just to make sure that you know how to do it and you're doing it right. You've got your yarn. We're going to fold over and create a loop, and then we're going to pretzel the loop. Okay. Take the yarn that's under your main loop, so right there, put your hook through it, grab hold of both ends of that yarn, pull, and you have a knot and a slip knot. You know it's right when if you pull your working yarn, it pushes the loop, it pushes the knot all the way to your hook. Okay, there you have it. And again, we're going to leave a little bit of space between the slip knot and your hook, just so that you have place to work within it. All right. So again, you're going to want to keep tension. So the way that I do it, wrap it around my ring finger, wrap it back up to my index finger. All right, I'm going through this pretty quickly because we've done this in the previous video. If you're not quite sure on how to make a slip knot, foundation chains, and how to get your tension right, you can go and watch the previous video, and that'll give you a little more detailed explanation of how to do that. All right, so let's start with our chains. Now, a half double crochet is a little taller than a single crochet. So what that means is on this square, you can see how a single crochet is a pretty small stitch, okay? So it's like about this much really is one stitch. A half double crochet is a little taller than that. For that, you're gonna need a little more chains added onto the end of your foundation chain so that you have a little more space to go in and make your first stitch. Otherwise, it's going to look pretty cramped right at the end. So for a single crochet, we know that we did, the number of stitches that you wanted for your chains plus 1. So we wanted 16 stitches for our single crochet square. So we did 16 chains plus 1 to act as a turning chain. At this time, we're going to do 16 chains plus 2. Okay, and that's going to act as the chain that we used to turn in. All right, so we're basically going to make 18 chains this time. So again, a chain is yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook, and that's a chain. And we're going to do that 18 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and there you go. Almost kept going, but you just need 18 chains, all right? And there is your foundation chain for our half double crochet square. We're gonna go ahead and start our half double crochet. When we did our single crochet square, you might have remembered that we started in the second from our hook, right? So we skipped the one that we just made and we went into the next chain. For our half double crochet, we're actually going to skip that one as well, and we're going to go into the third chain from our hook, okay? So when you're counting the chains from your hook, you technically count the one that you just made as well, okay? So you just made that one, so that's 1, 2, 3, okay? We're going to go into that one, so we're going to go into the third chain from our hook, and we're going to start our first stitch there. And again, as a reminder, when you're working in your foundation chains, you're going only into the top of your chain. So there's a nice little V shape. You're only going into the top V, okay, into the top of the V. And we're going to have that one little stitch on our hook, okay? Now for a half double crochet, you're going to start by yarn over, okay? You're going to hold on to that yarn, you're going to keep it on your hook, and then you're going to go into the third chain from your hook. So remember, we're going to count the one that we just made, which is 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into this third chain. So again, we're going to hold on to that yarn that we just yarned over because we don't want to lose it. We don't want to let go of it. And you're going to put your hook into that third chain. Okay, so if you look, we now have 1, 2 loops, and we have the stitch that we just went into. Okay, well, now that we're in the stitch, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through just the stitch. So that's what we just went into. Okay, if it's easier, you can hold on to these 2 loops so you don't lose it and you don't risk pulling through all of them. So again, we're going to pull through just the stitch. Okay, and you can hold on to it if you want. It makes it a little easier because now we have 3 loops on our hook. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to it because that makes it easier for me to move around without losing the tension of these stitches. So I literally just hold the stitch itself and the chain itself. and I'm going to yarn over once again. Lots of yarn overs. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all the 3 loops on my hook. Okay, so literally just going to pull 1, 2, 3 through all 3 of them. Okay, and that is a half double crochet. Okay, lots of yarns over, I know, but it'll get easier in time. Okay, and then we're going to work into the next stitch, or sorry, the next chain. Okay, so we're going to do this again. We're going to do it nice and slow. We're going to yarn over. Okay, you can hold on to it, and we're going to go into the top of the V of the next chain. All right, we're going in through there. And again, I'm still holding these 2 so that they don't move around too much. But now you can see that we have 2 loops plus the stitch that we just went into on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull through just the stitch, which is just the first loop that was on our hook. Okay, and now I'm going to hold a stitch so that it doesn't go anywhere, and I'm going to yarn over once again, and I'm going to pull through all the 3 loops. Okay, so just like that, and there you have it. That is your second half double crochet. All right, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to fill out all of these chains. Okay, so again, yarn over, and we're going to go into the next chain, the top of that chain, in through the stitch. We have 2 loops on our hook and the stitch that we just went through. We're going to yarn over and pull through just the stitch. And now we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to hold the stitch. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through all the 3 loops. All right, look at that working up nicely. And again, yarn over, insert your hook into the chain. You have 2 loops plus the stitch, yarn over, pull through just the stitch. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of those 3 loops. All right. And you can see it working up. This is what a half double crochet looks like. Okay, so let's keep going. Again, we're going to finish up this entire chain. So yarn over, insert into the chain, pull through just the chain, yarn over, and pull through all the 3 loops. Okay, yarn over, put through the stitch or the chain, yarn over, pull through just the stitch. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all of those 3 loops. All right, yarn over, insert into the stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 at the same time. Okay, yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through just the stitch, yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. Okay, now the pulling through the loops might take a little bit of getting used to, but just take it slow and make bigger loops if you have to. Okay, yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through just the stitch. Okay, yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops, yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. Okay, we're almost done with the chains, and again, it gets so much easier to work into once you actually have stitches. So our next row is going to be a lot easier, okay? Trust me. So we're just going to keep working these into the chains. And we're at the end. Again, you're going to know that you hit your last stitch when you're stitching into the slip knot, okay? So we're just going to put in our last stitch into the slip knot. And there we have it. A whole row of half double crochets. We're going to do our turning chain. So again, you're just going to yarn over and pull through the loop. And that is your chain. And we're going to turn our work, and we can work in through this way. Working into these row of stitches is going to be so much easier than the chain, okay? So you can see in here, all right, we're just going to go back into the stitch, the last stitch that we made, and we have these nice defined V's, and those are our stitches, okay? So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into the V, so we're going to go into the whole V this time, remember, now that we're actually going into the stitches and we're not just going into the chains, we're going to go into the whole V, okay? So there you have it, you have the whole V in, yarn over and pull through that stitch, okay? So we're going to pull through the entire stitch, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all the 3 loops that we have. All right, and again, yarn over, you're going to go into the stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull through just the stitch, and then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all the 3 loops, okay? So one more time, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like going into the stitches. Yarn over, go into the V, yarn over and pull through just the V. End up with 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all those 3 loops on your hook. All right, and we're going to finish up this entire row, and that's going to be our second row of stitches, all right? And then once we get to the end of this row, again, I'm going to show you how to put in that last stitch, which can be a little tricky. And then I'm going to tell you how many rows we need to work up to create this half double crochet square. All right, and this is our last stitch. So again, you're going to look and you're going to find that V, and you can tell that you haven't done your last stitch because it's uneven. You can tell that the edge is uneven. So you just have one more stitch to go. You're going to look for it. You can see that little V in there. Put your stitch in, and now you can see that it's a nice even edge. So you know you're at the end. All right, do your turning chain, so yarn over, pull through, and turn your work, and there you have it, 2 rows of half double crochets. So we need 11 rows total in this square for it to look roughly the same height as our single crochet square. All right, so we've just finished 2, so we're going to go ahead and do 9 more rows so we can complete this square. All right, so I'm gonna basically speed run, and I'm gonna meet you back at the last row. All right, we are about to start our last row, which is our 11th row. So I just did my turning chain, and I'm gonna go in and basically do the last row of this. I'm just gonna crochet in my last row of these stitches, and we're literally just gonna be doing the exact same thing that you've been doing for 10 rows. Just gonna do one more row, and really just want to go through this with you again, just to show you how to end it off, which is really going to be the same as the last video, but just to show you how to cast off and end this piece, and then move on to the next stitch that we have in store today, which is the double crochet. So we're almost at our last stitch. It's our second last stitch, and now we're going into our last stitch. So just gotta get it in there, finish off your last stitch, and there you have it. That's your square, your little half double crochet square. That's what it should look like. And then we're going to do basically a turning chain, kind of. So we're just going to do one chain. All right, yarn over, pull through, and we're going to make a nice long loop. We're going to take our little scissors and we're going to chop it off right there. We're going to take our loop and just pull all the way through until it creates a knot, and then we're just going to tighten the knot, and there you go. It should really look the same as the slip knot down here, and there you go. It basically serves the same purpose, all right? So as you can see, you have your single crochet and your half double crochet here. Like I said, your half double crochet is a little more see-through. You can see the stitches between them. And again, as I said, they are a little taller. So that's going to give them a little bit more, well, room between them. But again, as you can see, just the finish of these two stitches are quite different. So depending on the project that you want to do, depending on the finish that you want, and how you want it to really look, you can choose different stitches for even the exact same project. All right, so there you have it. That is the end of our half double crochet. We're going to go through a double crochet, which, as you can tell by the name, you have a half double crochet and then a double crochet. So double crochet is a little taller than a half double crochet, and it has a few more loops to it, so it's just a little bit more complex than this. So just like we did for our half double crochet square, we're going to start off with a slip knot. So again, we can do a slip knot real quick. So make a loop with your tail end on this side, and then you're going to fold over your loop to make a pretzel. And you're going to pick up this bottom yarn that's running through the loop, take your hook, put it through that, grab both ends of your yarn and pull. You're going to know that it works when, if you pull your working yarn, it pulls the loop closer to your hook. All right? And again, we're going to leave a little bit of space between the slip knot and your hook, so we have some space to actually work. All right, so we're going to start off with foundation chains again, surprise. Now, as we saw the difference between a single crochet and a half double crochet, for a single crochet you just added one chain at the end of your chains, right? So the previous two squares that we've done have had 16 stitches. So on your single crochet you made 16 chains, you added one to make it like a turning chain. On your half double crochet you added 2 chains. So on your double crochet you're going to add 3 chains, and that's because it is a little bit of a taller stitch, so you're going to want a little bit more room to do your first stitch. All right, so we're going to make 16 plus 3 chains, so we're going to make a total of 19 chains to start off this double crochet square. So Let's do our chains. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay, there you have it. That is our chain of 19, and we're going to go in and we're going to make our first double crochet. Now again, like we did for the single and the half double, so for the single crochet we started in the second chain from our hook. For our half double crochet we started from the third chain from our hook. For our double crochet we're going to start for the fourth chain from our hook. Okay, so we're going to count, and again when we're counting we're going to include the chain that we just made. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go into the fourth chain from our hook. All right, so we're going to start out a little similar to a half double crochet. We're going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook into that fourth chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into the top, whoopsies, into the top of that fourth chain. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through this stitch. Okay, so pretty standard, pretty similar to the half double crochet, but for the double crochet, instead of pulling through all 3 loops, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through the first 2 loops that are on our hook. So this third one we're going to leave out. So I'm just going to put my finger over it and cover it so that I don't pull it through that one accidentally. So I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through the first 2 loops on our hook. So now we have 2 more loops left. Okay, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through the remaining 2 loops on my hook. And I've just made a double crochet. All right, so let's try that again. Okay, we're going to take it nice and slow, don't worry. We're going to yarn over and we're going to insert into the next slip knot, wow, into the next chain. We're going to yarn over and pull through the stitch. All right, it's the same as a half double crochet until here. Now I'm gonna hold on to this again. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through only the first 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to leave the third loop untouched. Okay, so now I have 2 loops that I have on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through both of those loops now on my hook, and that is going to create a double crochet. All right, and again, yarn over, insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through only the first 2 loops and leave the last loop unattended like it's a minor. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through both of the loops left on your hook. Okay, and as usual we're going to make our way down this entire chain. Okay, and I'm going to go there with you, so don't worry about it. We're going to yarn over, insert into the stitch, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 2 loops. Okay, yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of the loops on your hook. All right, and once more, let's go. Yarn over, insert into the stitch. It just started pouring outside, so that's all I can hear now. Yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through both loops. Let's finish up the chains. I'm still going to take it nice and slow so you can see how I'm doing it, just without me repeating the same thing over and over. We're in our second last chain now. Okay, and we're in the last chain. Again, you're gonna know you hit the last one when you're crocheting into the slip knot. So let's crochet into the slip knot. And there we have it. A whole row of double crochets. Now, as you might be able to tell, this is definitely taller than the half double crochet, okay? Which means it works up a lot easier, which is kind of nice, okay? And now we're going to work into the first row of our stitches, all right? So we're going to chain one. So one chain, we're going to turn our work, and we're going to crochet into these stitches, and it's going to go the exact same way. We're going to yarn over, insert into that V, okay? We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, right? Yarn over, pull through all your loops. And we're going to do that into all of these stitches, okay? So we're working up to our second last one here. And our last one in here. All right. And there we have it. Those are our 2 rows of double crochets. Okay, so we're gonna work up 7 rows in total if I've done my calculations correctly. We might need 1 more row, so I'm going to aim for 7 rows in total. And then if I need to add 1 more, we're gonna add 1 more, but I'm gonna find that out at the end after we crochet this. So we already have 2 rows, so we're gonna do 5 more rows, okay? Alright, we're about to start on our 8th row, so I just wanted to meet you back in real time and finish off our 8th row. So we're just going to start it off right there. Keep going. As you get more comfortable with this stitch, or maybe you might have already noticed it as you were working through the rows, it does work up faster than like a single crochet does, at least for me. I find single crochet is very tedious. It just feels like a very small stitch, very little payoff. Whereas this is a bit more of a complex stitch, but once you get used, once you get the hang of it really, it works up so nice and quickly. Like while I'm recording, I can see how long it takes for me to actually finish a stitch, which is interesting because I've never seen that before. And I don't actually know how long it takes for me to crochet things, but seeing that, you know, crocheting the single crochet square, like speed running through that took me almost 10 minutes for that one square, whereas it basically took me like 5 minutes to speed run through this, which it's always interesting to see how quickly some stitches work up, you know. All right, and we're into our last stitch over here. And there we have it. So we're just going to cast off, and again we're just going to do a chain. We're going to pull and leave a nice amount over there. We're going to grab our little scissors and we're going to give our yarn a little snip. Wow, I'll snip that a little better. And then we're just going to pull the loop, create a little knot, and we're going to tie it nice and tight there. So this is a total of 8 rows, right? And there you have it. That's your double crochet square. Now you can see there's a sort of pretty cool kind of zigzag pattern, which is fun. I'm just gonna compare it to our half double crochet square, just so you can get a sense of what it really looks like compared to each other. I can see how there's a lot more room between the stitches. This one's taller, so the room is, you know, there's a little more space upwards going there. And you can see it's a little airier. Now compared to it, that one looks, you know, a little tighter, even though if we compare it again to our single crochet square, you know, these now look a lot more airier than these ones, and a lot more spaced out than our single crochet. So there you have it, 3 different stitches. And 3 very different looks, but all equally exciting. And now you know all 3 of these stitches, so you now know what it's like to make a double crochet. So there you have it. Congratulations, you now know 2 more stitches, which brings your total stitch count up to 3, which makes you a total crochet badass. Let's go. Look at you. So I'm so excited that we have those 2 done, because again, they are also such basic common stitches that you find in so many different patterns and different projects as you're crocheting. So now that you know, I'm not going to say the Holy Trinity, but they're kind of the Holy Trinity of crocheting, because they are like such basic stitches that you just see them over and over and over again, like so many patterns that you're doing. It's just some variation of like half double crochet, double crochet, and single crochet. So honestly, now that you know these 3 stitches, you could literally stop right here and be set for crochet life. Like you could never learn another stitch in your life and you'd be fine. Like you'd be able to do probably like 90% of the patterns out there, because a lot of times there are stitches that are literally like just mixtures of these 3 stitches. So it's such a good basis to build all of your crocheting knowledge on, because again, like you're really going to find these 3 stitches in literally, I want to say like 90% of patterns, probably more. So really common set of stitches. Just practice and hone your skills in these 3 stitches, because if you can, like, once you get these stitches down and you can make them without even like thinking about it, and you have a really neat like single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, it changes your work so much, because now you just have such neat work, and it completely changes how your projects look, and the finished product of them too. So give yourself a pat on the back. You really know like the basic stitches that you need to know, and you're good. You can build so much just based off of these 3 stitches now. Before we wrap up this video, I'm going to give you your assignment. So similar to how we did the previous video, you're really just going to make a few more squares. Since we're doing 2 stitches, my cat is climbing the window. This is what you get for getting a cat on Kijiji. Like, she is literally climbing the mesh on my window, and she is under the blind. And she fell. She's so embarrassing. Lena, come here, sweetie. She hates me. She's embarrassed now. She's licking herself. Let's get into assignments. So we're going to do a couple of more squares. Since we did 2 stitches in today's video, we're just going to do 1 more square of each of the stitches. So again, this is assuming that you did the square during the tutorial. You're going to just do 1 more half double crochet square and 1 more double crochet square. So you're going to end up with a total, after this video, a total of 2 half double crochet squares and 2 double crochet squares. For the next module, you might need a little bit more yarn depending on your preference. So we're going to go into granny squares. For that, depending on how many colors you want in your granny square, you might need a few more skeins of yarn. If you're looking to try to buy as little as possible in terms of materials, you'll be fine just using this. Like, you can just use whatever yarn you already have. Because you've already made a few squares, you might need 1 more ball of yarn. So if you want to add in 1 more color, you can get a different colored yarn, and then that could be fun, and you can have multicolored granny squares. If you just have a couple more of the same colored yarn, that's fine. You can use a single color yarn. I'm going to be using, I want to say, around 4 different colors of yarn to make all of the different colored granny squares. So it's up to you, but I do want to show you how to switch between colors as you're doing a granny square, just so you know that can feel a little intimidating as well. So if you do have even just 2 colors of yarn, you can use those, and we can learn how to switch between colors as we crochet as well. And of course, you're going to need your trusty dusty influencer 5mm hook. Woo! And that's it for today. So hopefully I will see you next week for our little granny square tutorial. But crochet and have fun until then, and I will see you then.